Area Realtors review the 2023 housing market, breaking down the year-end trends.
23 News reporter Sydney Staufferegan talks with the NorthWest Illinois Alliance of Realtors, who say market trends broke 3 records last year.
A market influenced by rising mortgage rates, 2023 was one of the toughest years for home buyers. Real estate experts say this year the market will face only slight changes. With houses selling in a blink of an eye and not enough homes for sale, 2023 was rough for home buyers. Housing prices saw a jump of 7%, the highest average price paid for homes since 1998. But 58 fewer homes, another record, were put on the market each month for buyers.
First thing they should do is really start being prepared, and that's working with a local lender, talking to your realtor, what are the expectations that are out there. And when a house does come on the market that fits your budget, suits your needs, you're going to have to make an offer quickly.
Real estate experts expect mortgage rates to keep rising in 2024, adding more hurdles for younger buyers struggling to make down payments. But rental properties aren't complaining. According to Paul Arena of the Rockford Apartment Association, we've seen a strong demand in recent years thanks to younger residents looking to rent.
I think you should not feel panicked or pressured into selecting just the first apartment, because it's true that there's high demand, but you also don't want to make a bad decision because you're entering into that for a year.
In 2023, homes sold in a record of 20 days, forcing buyers to quickly snatch up properties. Northwest Illinois Alliance of Realtors CEO Connor Brown says if you are looking to make a move, now is the time.
Really, I think it's educating yourself, whether you're a buyer or seller. Be prepared, and then also just be ready. When you're ready to make that move, whether it's listing or making an offer on a property, you have everything in a row that you need.
The Mortgage Bankers Association expects home prices to increase up to nearly 3% in 2024. With this added value, sellers will get a better bang for their buck.
Thank you, Sydney. And despite the third lowest home sales drop in Rockford history, the overall Illinois volume dropped more than 18% in 2023, keeping Rockford one of the more affordable Illinois housing markets.